Rome, summer 100 BC. Numerius Aemilius Scabrus was attacked by both generals, and his cavalry was decimated. The enemy cataphract riders proved superior to the Roman cavalry. Scabrus fought for his life. Roman legionaries rushed to his aid and attacked the enemy riders from behind. In the midst of the chaos, Scabrus saw his riders falling, one by one, dying a heroic death. Sounds of death and horse cries merged as horses lost their innards. Blades clashed against each other. Scabrus pointed upward to the sky, and when the gazes returned, he was gone. With only 4 remaining riders, Scabrus managed to break through the middle and escape. The Roman legionaries now turned their attention to the Persian generals, who were surrounded by them. The cataphract riders continued to hold their ground, despite being surrounded by Roman legionaries. The defeat of Scabrus' cavalry was a heavy blow. The legionaries had significant difficulties in defeating the heavy cataphract riders. The enemy generals proved to be Persian demigods. Under arrow fire, the Persian general rode into the sunset. He was invincible and changed the battlefield, attacking the main army. Scabrus ordered the archers to attack directly, armed with pointed sticks. The archers aimed to topple the heavy cataphract riders. It was chaos. The Roman legionaries finally managed to dismount the Persian general from his horse. A princess on the fortress wall shed a tear. The tide had suddenly turned. The battlefield was filled with chaos. The Roman legionaries fought fiercely against the Persian troops as they desperately tried to dismount the Persian general from his proud steed. The tide seemed to suddenly turn as the efforts of the Roman warriors began to bear fruit. In the midst of the raging battle stood a princess, observing the events from the fortress wall. Her eyes were filled with fear and concern for the brave Roman soldiers who risked their lives to defend their land. A single tear escaped her cheek and glistened in the sunlight. It was a silent expression of her deep connection to the Roman warriors and her hope for their victory. The tension on the battlefield was palpable as the Roman legionaries intensified their efforts to bring down the Persian general. With skillful maneuvers and united forces, they tried to dismount him from his saddle. Their swords clashed against his armor as they surrounded him and fought with relentless determination. However, the general, an experienced warrior, fought back desperately and held his ground on his horse. But suddenly, as the tension reached its climax, a group of legionaries managed to bring the general down. A loud cheer erupted from the Roman ranks, accompanied by a thunderous battle cry. The moment of triumph seemed within reach, and the princess on the fortress wall couldn't suppress a small smile of relief. The Persian troops were thrown into disarray and began to feel the loss of their general. Some hesitated in their readiness to fight, while others attempted to take command. The Roman legionaries seized the moment of confusion to intensify their attacks and push the enemy back further. The princess on the fortress wall watched the events with bated breath. The tear on her cheek had transformed into a stream of hope. She knew that the battle was not yet over, but the fall of the Persian general had marked a significant turning point. The Roman legionaries drew new strength from their success and fought with even greater determination. Under the command of their experienced officers, they pushed the Persian troops further back and captured more and more territory. Victory seemed within reach, and the princess on the fortress wall found solace in knowing that her people and their brave defenders had a chance to push back the enemy and ultimately achieve victory. The Persian resistance steadily weakened as the Roman legionaries advanced relentlessly. The enemy troops fell into disarray, and the remaining Persian officers desperately tried to maintain control over their units. But the momentum had shifted in favor of the Romans, and their will to win was unshakable. The princess on the fortress wall followed every movement with intense attention. Her heart was filled with pride and admiration for the bravery and determination of the Roman warriors. She witnessed them breaking the final resistance of the Persians with united forces and unwavering courage. The sound of trumpets and battle cries filled the air as the Roman legionaries launched the decisive attack. They surged forward, driving the Persians before them. The princess felt the tension and hope that enveloped the battlefield as the Roman troops advanced toward the final victory. The Persian troops were now in complete disarray as the Roman legionaries advanced relentlessly. The princess could hardly believe that the situation had changed so drastically. What had seemed hopeless before had now turned into a hopeful triumph. The last Persian resistance crumbled as the Roman legionaries forced the enemies into retreat. The princess could barely contain her joy and relief as she saw the Roman troops leave the battlefield as victors. The day was won, the Persian general defeated, and the Roman army triumphant. The princess on the fortress wall felt a deep gratitude for the bravery and determination of the Roman warriors who had defended her land and her people. The battle was over, but the victory would live on in the hearts of the Romans and their princess for a long time. The tide had truly turned from a bleak outlook to a radiant success. Oh, how about leaving a subscription here, and so until next time. Hibis has fallen. Scabrous has triumphed.